Hey everybody, welcome back to today's show, episode 172 of the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. Glad you could be here with me today. Looking forward to going over the top 5 ways to stay motivated as a coach, because I don't care who you are, at some point over your career, probably multiple times, you're going to question if this is the right career for you, if you're in the right place, if you're actually serving people to the best of your ability, could you be doing more, and should you maybe be doing something else with your life? So one of the things I want to let you know first and foremost is this is completely normal. These are normal feelings to have. If you weren't a fitness coach, health practitioner, etc., you'd simply be doing something else and you would have the same exact questions. Now, I don't know about a lot of other careers, but I can tell you this, having been in this industry now for about 25 years, I know for sure that these things come up. They're very common. I've personally hired and worked with over 500 different coaches, personal trainers, etc. myself. Now, in the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, we have almost 5,000. So, I've got a lot of experience just talking with people. And what I like to do is simply share with you that you're not alone. You're not alone in your hopes and your dreams of what you want to make out of your career, but you're also not alone in having down days, discouraging days where you're like, oh, am I actually really making a difference? Am I helping people? And I'm here to share with you that you are, and that you just need to keep going and you need to stay motivated through the more difficult times. Now, the good news is the difficult times don't really last more than maybe a day. It's a bad day, right? It's a hard day. These things happen. I'll be talking about one of those here today. And sometimes they last weeks or maybe even a couple months, but usually never longer than that. And that's because whatever you're going through, well, there's that season of change, right? So there's a season of kind of feeling down on yourself. You're kind of stuck in a rut. I'm going to give you some things to get out of that. Being stuck in a rut quickly, hopefully more quickly than you would have maybe in the past. And you're going to use that to then simply move back into a place that you enjoy being in terms of your career and your happiness. But I also believe that using these 5 tips, you're going to be able to take your career and your happiness and enjoyment to that next level, while of course serving and helping a lot of people. So let's get right into it. So a lot of this, and probably like the last couple of weeks and certainly this week on the show, really is inspired by us putting on an event for a couple hundred of our integrative health practitioners. And when I really start to think about the difference between always, in the past, always being around people in person versus online now and virtual. And many of you have virtual-based practices, if not your entire practice, at least a good amount of it. And oftentimes, since we never get to actually exchange real energy in person with another individual, we oftentimes don't always get the same satisfaction or simply exchange. Like the knowledge, like, hey, what I'm doing makes a difference. Oh, I'm around other people that share the same interests. And although it's great online, there's no doubt about it. I'm so grateful that we are able to have online communities and online chat. There is something about live events. And so that's my first way to stay motivated is live events in any industry that you're in. If you are a personal trainer, well, when I was a personal trainer, I used to go to the URSA convention. That was so much fun, walking the trade show, learning about, looking at all the different new fitness equipment coming out, etc. I would go to Perform Better seminars. I would go to Mike Boyle-based seminars. I would put on my own seminars later when I had more experience. So live events are truly amazing. And then later, of course, I would go to all sorts of different functional medicine, integrative health events. I'd go internships are basically live and in person, right? So, those are all things that I've always loved. And then I would be a part of different business groups or career-minded groups with other entrepreneurs and people exchanging ideas there too, because kind of like it's a very lonely place sometimes being an entrepreneur and starting your own journey, and you know what you want to do, you know who you want to help, but that doesn't mean that it's always easy day in and day out. And so I've been a part of all those different groups, and I continue to be. I literally continue to do these things all the time. I continue to go to events. And so I'm telling you right now, if you have not been to a live event in the last year or so, make it a point to get to 1 to 2 live events per year. All right, 1 to 2 live events per year. Look them up, plan ahead. It will energize you for at least the next 4 to 8 weeks after you leave that event. So many new ideas, so many new connections, And it's a lot of fun. A lot of the people that I'm still friends with right now in this industry, I first met at a live event. It's just so much different than meeting someone online. When you meet them in person, there's a different level of energy, and it's absolutely amazing. So I can't recommend it enough. Live events once or twice a year. More often, if you can do it once a quarter, well, then you keep that motivation going. And that's actually what I do. I do about one event per quarter. Now, I do speak at multiple events, typically once or twice a month. But that's a whole different story. And I mean, again, that leaves me supercharged forever. So even if you can put on some speaking events or you can be interviewed at an event, that's absolutely amazing. All right. So that's number one. Number two is continuing education in a new topic. So again, I like to just share from my life. I think there's probably some other people out there like me. Maybe it'll kind of jog some different ideas for you as well. But so when I first started in the industry, I was about 18 years old. I was into nutrition first and then very, very quickly into personal training. And so I got started first with it was called something like Lifestyle Management Associates back then, but then it became like the American Association of Dietetics and Sports Nutrition. I think that was one of them. And then I got into like the American College on Exercise at 18. And then I moved on to the National Academy of Sports Medicine and the American College of Sports Medicine for their membership, and then the CSCS through the National Strength and Conditioning Association, and then I became a golf conditioning professional, and then a yoga instructor. So like you can see, all I did was just say, listen, I love this field of health and fitness. I love this field of nutrition. I need continuing education credits every year. What should I do next? And what I did next, so again, keep in mind, up until how old? Somewhere in my late 20s, I did nutrition and personal training, but those are the main overarching ones. But part of personal training was strength and conditioning because I was a strength and conditioning professional. Part of that was yoga, golf, sports conditioning, those types of things, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, like all the extra things that I did. But it was still under personal training. It was still under the same umbrella. That's the truth. People came to me for personal training. Now, call it whatever you want. Again, for athletes, for weight loss, body transformation, for whatever it might be, strength. That's where they came to me, and everything was under the umbrella. So I had more things to pull from. I used yoga, not as a yoga instructor, but actually inside of my sessions to be able to look at muscle imbalances, do certain core-based poses. I learned a lot about breath work back then. And so again, I use them inside of my core practice. So now you as a health coach, well, what does that mean? Honestly, as a health coach, sky's the limit, right? Sky is the limit. So you could do, of course, at-home lab testing, food sensitivity to start, hormones, gut testing, but you can also do things like studying more about herbs, studying more about Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, bioregulatory medicine, all the things that we teach inside of IHP, you can then take that in that next level as well. So continue education. I always talk about like this. So you've got your circle where you're originally certified. That's kind of your core competency. And then the circle just expands. And as it expands, you get more knowledge. Now, don't do it too quickly. Master your original domain and then begin to move out from there. But that is super motivating because you're like, oh, I have something new to share with my clients. And again, I'm super interested in this. In just a few months from now, I'm going to be announcing a new thing that I'm personally going to be doing. And it's in the field that I love. And so that's the thing is do more of what you love because there are people out there who love it too. So I love advanced healthy biohacking and high performance. And you're going to see that now in the next year because it's what I love to do. And so since I'm super passionate about it, I'm like, listen, I want to share it, right? And so that's what I'm going to do. So continue to broaden your circle after you master your craft. All right. The third one is this: focus on client success stories and outcomes. When you are having a bad day, when things get tough, when you just went through an appointment or a day where nothing seemed to go well, a client wasn't getting results, their programs weren't going well, I don't know, you were late for an appointment, just things didn't go your way, right? You forgot something, you double booked yourself. It happens to everybody. Honestly, if you do this long enough, all of those things occur. They just do. It's just the law of averages, right? It's you do 100, 200, 1,000 appointments, it's going to happen. It happens. And so what you want to do is you want to just say, like, listen, if it lasts more, I always say this, if it's a bad day, I just go to bed early. Like, that's it. Tomorrow's a new day, right? But if it starts to stick with you, we have bad weeks sometimes. We do. Go back to your success stories. Go back to your case studies that you have on your desk that you can always draw from, or on your website, a success story page or a success story in every page. Read through those. It's going to share with you why you were doing this in the first place and truly how much you actually do make a difference in people's lives. That's number 3. Number 4 is disconnecting at night. I mean, you have to. You really have to. Why would this be motivating? I'm telling you right now, I love what I do, but sometimes I love what I do too much. And that means that I do not turn it off as much as I should. So I'm bringing it with me at night. Yes, I have my family time, but then my 2 daughters go to bed, and then maybe I start to hop back on and start to research something, or a thought comes in my head, so I start writing. I'm telling you right now, if the thoughts come in your head, good. Make a quick note for yourself for tomorrow. Now what I do is I send myself an email just with that quick thought. That's all. And technically, I make a note of it in my note app, and then I send that note to myself an email. And then I already know what the bullets are, 3-5 bullets, that's it. And then I can think about it tomorrow. I actually learned this many, many years ago from a famous author that I worked with. I can speak about him now. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He was much older at the time. Amazing individual, Robert Parker. And so I always like to give credit where credit's due. Robert Parker was an amazing individual. He had his past. He had his issues, but we all do. And just a great human being, really good father, which not a lot of people know about, and an even better husband. And to his wife, Joan, who's absolutely amazing as well. And she's since passed too. But anyway, I worked with him towards the end of his life to just improve overall health and all of those different great things. And again, a great privilege. But what he did, he's a prolific author. Very few authors write 4 books a year. It's completely insane. He didn't necessarily want to write 4 books a year. And I don't think that I'm talking out of turn now by saying this, but he did it also for his family. It was an income that he could then provide for his family. And I always respected that. And he was a brilliant writer. And what he would do is he would write 5 pages every day, and that's it, Monday through Friday, and take the weekends off. And that's how you become a prolific author. You literally write 5 pages per day, and that's it. He said, if I could write 10, all I would do is write a couple sentences leaving off of what it was going to be the next day. And then I got right back to it. And I treated it as a job rather than, having to work all hours of the day to get a book done. And I was like, that's a great way to do it, right? And so, but he disconnected. And the reason is that he learned his lessons through life, and his evening time was actually for he and his wife. And that was his time. And he also had his dog that he loved and all that. So anyway, disconnecting at night is going to do a couple things. One, there's always more work to be done, like always. You never finished. You just never finished. If you're an entrepreneur or you're someone that's working for yourself, it's never done. So you need to have a little bit of time for leisure, a little bit of time off, and then you get to miss then what you love. I tell that to people all the time. I really do. I'm like, I work with a lot of moms who do their best for their family, and they do an amazing job for them and their kids, and they never get away. And so even though they love who they are, what they do, and all that, it becomes a lot. And I totally understand that. I said, listen, like, you need a weekend away every once in a while for just you, or just you and some friends. Like, you need to do that. I know you'll feel guilty at first, but you will then be able to miss what you have, and you can't miss it while you're in it. So it's tough to really explain that, but if you're in it day after day after day, and it just goes from sun up to sundown, and past that, obviously, but till you go to bed, what happens is you don't necessarily burn out, because if you're loving what you're doing, it's very difficult to burn out. It really is. Obviously, if you're not sleeping, then that's a problem. But you want to then eventually escape, because it's like, it's all I do. So then when you escape, then you say, I'm just going to leave it all, and you leave it all, and then you end up regretting it, because it is actually what you'd love to do. You just needed a little time away. So just make that break. I think that's really important. 5:30 to 7:30 at night, difficult to reach me. Really difficult to reach me. It's me and my family's time. That's it. Can you text me if there's something you really need? Not as a client, but like as my team, sure. 8:00. Yeah, I'll look at it, and then I'll get right back to you. But that's it. And then my wife and I, we like to catch up at night. We like to chat at night. Anybody who has young kids, they know that, like, listen, like, you don't get to talk. Like, you need a little time to yourself. And so that's that. All right. That's number 4. And the last one is 5. Number 5. I love this. It is one of my favorite. I've discussed this many, many times with some of the best high performance coaches in the world. Mindset coaches, hypnotists, NLP, like professional athlete coaches, et cetera, you name it. The very best and the happiest people in the world are those people who always feel that they are growing and evolving. Now, this is different than number 2. It's not just thinking about how can you expand your knowledge base. It's not about that. I love that. Don't get me wrong. When I went from nutrition to personal training to then strength and conditioning to then golf conditioning to then yoga to Reiki and I did all of these things. I didn't necessarily use all of them, but I took the knowledge always into my practice. Okay. So evolving though, yes, that's a type of evolving, but evolving is this: with you and your practice and how you serve is different than what you know. What will your practice look like 1 year from now? Will it look exactly like it is today? I bet it won't. I don't necessarily mean it'll be radically different, but you will be a different person 6 months from now, 9 months from now, and you'll want to then develop a new type of practice. Now, not destroying everything you've already done, but adding on to. So I ask you this, and this is exciting. This motivates me as we're coming towards the end of the year here. I am already, if you can see my desk right now, it is another big wall calendar on my desk. The year's not even, we're just getting into the 4th quarter. But this allows me to begin to look at the big picture for the next year. And I don't have it all figured out, and I don't necessarily want to. I want the year to evolve as well. But I want a couple key things that I share with my team at IHP, my team at Equalife, and my team over at StephenCabral.com. This is what we are looking to do. This is who we are looking to serve. This is how we are looking to serve them. And I get really excited about that. My team hopefully gets excited about it. And so I ask you, what does your next 12 months look like? Take a little time to think about that. Journal it. Go to a coffee shop. Sit down at a different place and just bring your journal and just think about, like, what would my ideal practice look like? Okay? What can I accomplish over the next 12 months? Great. Now, what can I accomplish over the next 12 weeks in order to get there? And if you haven't tuned into my 12-week year-based podcast, we'll try to link up a couple of those today. I've done about 3 or 4. So head on over to ihp.coach/172 for today's 3 big takeaways and how to plan your ideal year, as well as the 12-week year formula that I follow. If you haven't heard about it before, literally it transformed my life. I love it. I live by it, and I've been doing it now for about a decade. It has been a game changer for me. These are just a few of the ways that I stay motivated. I hope 1 or 2 maybe resonated with you. If so, let us know in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed to the show, please do so. Leave a review if you could. We thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Take care and have an amazing day.